Hello, good evening. You're welcome to Marriage O'Clock.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning.
Wherever you are, it's great to have you with us this afternoon. I'm Deji. I'm Deji.
Yeah, Deji is Ibadan.
I'm Deji Ibadiaro.
And I am Ibadiaro's val. Yeah, my name is
Deji Yemi Adenuga. I welcome you to Marriage O'Clock. Today again, Sunday. What's the date?
Today is the 16th of July.
16th of July, yeah.
Yes, 2017.
I remember that very well because that's when I sojourned in Liverpool, Nigerian Carnival Liverpool 2017 starts.
Absolutely,
yes.
Absolutely. I hope you've had a great day today. We've had an early start today, but it's been brilliant. I hope that you have an equally brilliant week.
Yes.
Tomorrow, the new week starting, but it's just the weekend ending. And today we've got a topic that was brought about by a member of this group, DY Relationship Clinic. And we're going to discuss that on Marriage O'Clock today.
Yes, and the topic, Yemi will tell you very soon. She said we had a very early start. I've not really had a good sleep. We've been traveling all the way from Dublin to Liverpool for the Nigerian Carnival, for the kickoff of Nigerian Carnival 2017 this year, as we would start in Liverpool since last year. So it's good to say hello to you, Liverpool. Liverpool, how are you people? How's everyone doing? We have brought to you Marriage O'Clock live from Liverpool.
Absolutely. And today we're going to look at a question. Yes. What if your spouse is in love with someone else?
What if your spouse is in love with someone else?
What if your spouse? Now notice we didn't say your boyfriend or your girlfriend.
And we didn't say what if he's cheating on you.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
Yes, we're not saying cheating.
Yes. What if he has a, what do you call it, sidekick?
A sidekick or a side chick.
Side chick.
Or it's plain away.
It's plain away. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Both-faced, he's saying yes.
I don't love you anymore.
I don't love you anymore.
I'm in love with somebody else.
Well, I'm not. Maybe he's still pretending. He says no, not that I don't love you. But the point is, I'm in love with
somebody else.
Yes. So that's what we are going to be looking at this evening.
Yeah. So what if your spouse says, "I'm in love with somebody else," and you know for a fact that your spouse doesn't love you anymore?
He suspected that something's been happening. His behavior has changed. The way he would normally come home late, the way he would, not normally, abnormally come home late, the way he would snap at you at every minute, the way he does things differently from how you started when you first got married, or how your marriage had been. Suddenly, there's been a change, or a gradual change. Now you notice, and he has finally come to say to you, I'm in love with someone else.
Or it could be the other way around. It could be the woman who comes along and says, I'm in love with somebody else. So what happens then? What do you do? How do you handle that? Like I said earlier, this was brought on the group by a member of this group. And she was quite interested in having us discuss this. She actually wanted members of the group to discuss this. And somewhere along the line, it became an issue that came to our notice because we've had quite a number of clients who have had this issue.
Yeah.
And we thought, let's talk about this.
And all along, people have asked me, and Ibadiaro at some point, that look, why do people say I'm in love with you or I love you, and suddenly they started behaving funny? All this we are going to be talking about on this program, Marriage O'Clock, this evening. And I ask you to bring along your friends, invite your friends to join us, invite them to join us on this live show this evening. Who do we have there? Do we have anybody coming in?
Oh, yes, we've had quite a number of people join us now. Welcome aboard, Lena. Hello, Lena. We can see you. It's great to see you again this week. Biodun Awe, happy Sunday to you as well. An uplifting week ahead of us. Yes, so says Lena. Biodun Awe. Hello, Salma. Hello, Biodun Awe. Great to see you here.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Yes.
Yomi Abdul says, you didn't sleep, you didn't rest. Oh, how was your journey? Oh, you're quite right about that. Our journey was great. It was fantastic. Tiring, but we're great. We have to be here this evening, so we're here.
And see what Evelyn says, interestingly. She says...
yes, she's kicking off this conversation, I suppose.
It's not impossible, especially a polygamous man. All right. Yes. Now, I'm just going to leave a polygamous man aside now. We're talking about a man, a woman, that, they are married and they said for better, for worse, they weren't planning on polygamy in the first place, but it just happens that somebody is playing away games and she or he just came boldly to say, yes, I'm sorry, I'm in love with someone else. So in the case of polygamy, the proponents of polygamy they said, look, as long as you can love everybody, all the people that are involved, all the women that are involved, as long as you can love them equally, then you can go ahead with your polygamy. So that's not what we're talking about now. We're talking about somebody who was in love with you wholeheartedly, or so he or she professed, then suddenly he or she came to you to say that I am in love with someone else, whether because he or she was caught, or you suspected something, or he or she just came up with this thing. Look, I must be honest. Well, be honest.
Yeah, honesty. And another thing, Val, it's also possible. Now, you said perhaps it could have been that the person, the spouse, either the man or the woman, was initially in love with you, with the other spouse, and then suddenly says, I'm no longer in love with you. It could also be an issue of perhaps the person was never in love with you in the first place. So this brings me to the first question on this topic. What was your foundation like? What was the foundation of your marriage like? How did you get married? A lot of people got married for the wrong reasons. So you want to begin to ask yourself the question, why did I marry my spouse? Could you have married the person perhaps for the looks? You were looking for a handsome man or a beautiful woman who looked presentable in your arms. You're going out and you can say, this is my husband, or this is my wife, this is the beautiful woman that is my, my property, as sometimes we say in Africa.
Yes.
Was that the reason? Or could it have been for money? Or could it have been for the fact that the woman got pregnant and you were both forced to marry each other? The man either felt a sense of guilt, okay, I caused this, so then I have to marry this person. Or the woman said, oh, you've impregnated me, so then you're responsible for this, you have to marry me and make a woman out of me. I don't want to have a child out of wedlock. There could be several reasons. There are 1,000,001 reasons.
All right. You're aware, you said in your own opinion, if this happens, one is helpless and there is not much one can do about it, as I cannot force him to love me. This is not even a matter of prayers, except if I suspect the love for the other party is through voodoo. And Richard, who has a marriage is an institution that has no graduation date. We keep studying till the end. Thank you very much.
And Yomi Abdul says, well, it will be obvious because it will be written all over him and his attitude will change. His attitude or her attitude will change because we're looking at both parties. It could be the man or the woman.
And Nawala Biodolo says, I cite you, my brother. So, that's
with you. Yes.
Now, I want to quickly say something about Biodolo and West's comment. He said, one is helpless. In your own opinion, if it happens, one is helpless and there's not much one can do. That's what we want to look at here. You see, we always say, we look at situations as being helpless and then we just resign to faith. These are situations, these are issues, these are problems, these are challenges. We cannot just throw in the towel and say, there is nothing I can do. You want to look at, okay, this is a situation, this is an issue. Now look at the beginning of the issue. Look at what caused this, what brought about this. You want to sit back and say, okay, my husband, my own wife, my own husband is in love with somebody else. Isn't there a reason? Isn't there a cause?
There's always a reason for something. There's always a reason for something.
And if you can trace the reason, then we can probably be able to solve the problem.
Absolutely. You are bang on the money, Val. Most times, we are so upset with what has happened that we fail to address the issue. We cannot stress this enough. We've said this in the past few episodes, that you are dealing with an issue, perhaps not even necessarily with the person. You have to deal with the root of the matter. If you do not deal with the root of the matter, you'll be dealing with yourself.
Exactly.
Why is my spouse in love with someone else? How did we get here?
Thank you, darling. You see, Yomi Olajobi Abdul, he says, if a man doesn't love you again, and I also add, if a woman doesn't love you again or anymore, just try to know why. That's what she's saying. Why? And if it's something you can change, you see, when you try to know why, when you try to look at what is the reason, then you'll be able to know how to handle it.
Absolutely.
If you just say, oh, I'm helpless, or you begin to cry, or you begin to go to one prophet or the other, or one pastor or the other for 7 days and 14 days prayer and fasting, it won't help anything. You want to know exactly what happened. And if you remember in one of the episodes we've had in the past, we dwell so much on communication. And when we're talking about communications, we encourage couples to sit down and talk. It's important that you sit down. You cannot just sit down on your own and begin to figure out the cause. To be able to know what the cause is.
It takes two.
Yes.
It takes two. You really both have to work together. If you cannot work together, therein lies a major part of your problem. Now, I want to go back to what I mentioned earlier on, and you touched on this as well, Val. Were you both in love in the first place? I mean, there's a complaint here.
We're going back to the beginning now.
Yes, back to the basis. There's a complaint here that your spouse is in love with somebody else.
And see who is agreeing with you. Prince Adetola Adeshegun, thank you very much for coming in. He says the foundation. That's what you are talking about. The foundation determines. Go on, please.
So there is a beginning. How did you come together? If you go back a bit, take a step back and examine that beginning, then it gives you an insight into why you got where you are at presently. I've seen people who were in love from the very beginning, everything was fine, and then suddenly either the man or the woman turned sour. But they're not examining what the reason is. All they're looking at is the problem. Oh, my wife is no longer in love with me. My wife has suddenly turned devilish. My husband is no longer in love with me. My husband is now a night crawler. Why? Why? And if you're examining the why, like Val said, you cannot examine it alone. You need to sit and talk about it.
That's why
what's going on.
See, Lina says teamwork.
Absolutely
teamwork
important.
is very important. And this Sergeant Wednesday, it says lack of true love and commitment could cause infidelity. See, we are looking at causes now. After going back to the beginning of the foundation of your love, the foundation of your relationship, we're now looking at, okay, move on to look at the causes. He says sometimes the foundation, okay, this is Adenide is saying sometimes the foundation of the relationship speaks volume. And Richard, I will just continue because I quickly want to get through with this your comment. He says, oh, okay. Anyway, thank you, Richard. I can't see. I don't know where my glasses are. I cannot be able to read well. Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about the foundation here. I think this is really important. When you go back and you examine the reason why you are here. How did we get here? I think this is important. How did we get here? How did it suddenly become a situation? Perhaps it wasn't even sudden. Perhaps it's been ongoing, but you never dealt with it. You were in denial and saying, oh, well, this is not my portion. This is not my portion. But you're not dealing with the issue.
Yes.
Look, pray, but faith without work is dead. You need to take action. So while you're praying for your spouse, you've noticed that something has gone wrong and you're praying for your spouse. At the same time, you need to take action. If there's something that needs to be dealt with, you deal with it. And can I just sound a note here? If from the very beginning, the purpose of your marriage was for a selfish reason, you cannot cry wolf. You cannot suddenly turn up then and suddenly start complaining that your spouse is in love with somebody else. because the foundation from the very beginning was wrong. Except if you now want to straighten that foundation and you want to work on it to make it work. Because the people who have gone into relationships for ulterior motives, and then suddenly they realize, oh, I actually like this person.
Yeah.
So can we start to try to work on this? That's something totally different. So if you decide to work on it, then you have to do it together. You cannot do this by yourself. It's important. Teamwork.
Yes, teamwork. You know, some people will say, yeah, if the foundation is faulty, you know, the Christians especially, they are quick to quote. If the foundation is faulty, what can the righteous do? People believe that once the foundation is faulty, there's nothing anybody can do. But I say, no, that's not true. If you decide to revisit the foundation, God help you. If you really, really, truly, genuinely visit the foundation, then what can the righteous do? The righteous can amend the foundation.
Go back and rebuild the foundation. Make it solid.
Solid, yes.
Make it solid.
Okay, so that is foundation. We have also mentioned the kind of beginning to the relationship. What kind of beginning did you have? What was the motive? Okay, so I'm also going to say this. Do you know that it is not, it doesn't just happen suddenly that your wife or your husband will come home and say, I'm in love with someone else?
No,
that must happen.
It would have built up.
Built up. And one of the things that usually happen in marriage is, look, after the honeymoon, after all the sweet talks and all the romances of the romance of the honeymoon, men and women, they tend to take each other for granted in marriage. True. They tend to take each other for granted. And you see, as you are taking your wife for granted, you are taking your husband for granted, there's somebody outside there who's thinking, wow, wow.
What a beautiful woman. What a fine-looking man.
A fine-looking man.
Do you remember the case of someone who constantly was getting accolades from the lady at work?
Yeah,
and the lady always told him, oh, you smell nice today. Is that your perfume?
Yes.
Oh, why did you just cut your hair? Meanwhile, every time he left home, the wife was like, what kind of shirt is that you're wearing? Another lady at work would admire that shirt. And the wife, if she didn't like the shirt, she could easily have said, rather than say, what kind of shirt is this? She could say, my dear, do you know what? That other blue shirt looks amazing on you every time you wear it. It's the how. You like him, you prefer him in the blue shirt and you like him in the blue shirt. So why not find your way of making him wear the blue shirt rather than the white one he's wearing today?
That you be
and
complaining
then
about.
you complain.
And somebody will be complimenting. So like I said, men and women, we tend to take each other for granted, you know, especially as the marriage goes on into 5 years, 6 years. You know, somebody even said some time ago that when a man is with the same woman for 10 years, 20 years, he said, oh, I'm so sorry for you because you are eating the stuff, you are viewing the same channel, you know. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, I remember that now. That the person said, oh, it's like having a skybox box and watching the same channel.
Yes.
That you can watch different channels.
So you see,
that is a no-no.
What I actually want to draw from that is, it is possible that you have a sky bouquet, a sky box. Sorry, not bouquet now, a sky box, and you are watching only one channel. It is possible in your marriage, and you are watching only one channel. You get bored. You get fed up. This is why I said we take each other for granted.
Yeah.
When there are several channels in your skybox, you keep yourself to you confine yourself to only one channel, and then you get bored, and now you are looking for fun outside, and then you see, I'm not saying
you better finish that, otherwise you'll be leaving people thinking that it's okay to watch different channels on the skybox for the wrong reasons. If you have a skybox, that's your spouse, right? And you want to watch different channels, your wife or your spouse has the Cook channel, has the Discovery channel, has the God channel. The same person has all the different channels.
The same skybox.
The same skybox.
That's the same woman, the same man.
But you don't watch the channel unless you tune into it.
Yeah, you have to tune in.
No. You have to discover the channels first. You have to discover, oh, so I have this channel here.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
But
that's
again,
the
that's the tuning in.
You have to tune in.
That's the
So
tuning.
be able to discover that this channel is here, this channel is there. Oh, I have the Cook channel. Oh, I have the adult channel. What? Several channels on your skybox. Several fun you can have with your wife, with your husband. All the things we are looking for outside, they are right there in that skybox. So that is one of the things we do. We take each other for granted. We think, no, I know him inside out, I know her inside out. When you have not even scratched the surface, all you know is the same thing you knew before you got married. And some of the things you knew before you got married might be wrong because you guys did not even sit down to talk.
Absolutely.
You don't get to talk about things. So you need to talk. You need to discover. You need to stop taking each other for granted. Thank you very much, Lina. I will see you. Shola and Johnny, thank you for joining us. We see your comments, and I know that people will be reading your comments even as this program is going on. Please keep bringing in your comments, and don't forget that at some point you might be able to call us in, but we're trying to sort that out, and we'll tell you what happens.
Okay, so we're looking at what if. What if you discover that your spouse is in love with someone else? So first thing then is ask yourself the question, do I still want this marriage? It's very vital. I mean, you've made a very painful discovery.
Put your hand there. Put your hand there. Put your ear.
Behave yourself. You're lying.
I'm behaving.
Everyone's watching you.
I'm behaving.
Okay. So I'll give you a little massage there.
Thank you very much. That's
all right.
The channel I enjoy.
Stop. Massage channel. Okay. So you discover that your spouse is in love with somebody else. Now, I want to bring this home. We said in love with somebody. So this is very clear to you that this person has no affection for you anymore. He's not displaying any affection. He's outrightly showing you that he or she cares about somebody else. He's outrightly showing you that he or she doesn't really care if this marriage fails or works. Devoted to somebody else. Let me bring this home first. Before I look at you saying that you either want to decide if you want to keep the marriage, whoever is the person who is in love with somebody else, it simply means that person is giving up on that marriage. For you to be in love with somebody else, there are quite a number of people out there, perhaps some people who are here watching us are in love with somebody else and they're struggling with it, and they're thinking, okay, do I tell my spouse? Or they've actually come out and they've told their spouse and they don't care. It means you are not committed. You have not been committed to your marriage, and that's why you've gotten where you are at today.
Yes.
And it means one other thing: you've been selfish. It doesn't matter. Can I tell you? It does not matter how you got here. For you to be in the marriage and you've now fallen in love with somebody else, it means you've become selfish. Let me tell you why. Because some people might be wondering, what do you mean the person is selfish? And if you're selfish, and if you're in that boat, you're wondering, why are you saying I'm selfish? After all, it wasn't my fault. It's both your faults. For you to have gotten here, it means you haven't spoken about the problem. You haven't dealt with the problem. And the easy way out for you then was to go with somebody else.
And let me tell you, because some people might be thinking, yeah, but what if my spouse committed adultery? Or what if my spouse is this? What if my spouse is that? I'm talking about you being in love with someone else. Okay, now if your spouse committed one atrocity or the other, and because of that you are in love with somebody else, let me tell you, you are even deceiving that person. Because a heart that is bleeding, a heart that is hurting, cannot fall in love with somebody else at that time. Unless you are looking for something to just soothe your pain at that point. And you're going to fall out of love with that person that you are saying you are in love with. Now, that means you are not even genuine in your intention towards the other person that you are in love with. And Bill always said, what if you have known the reasons why he decided to love the other party, and you have retraced your own steps, and yet he still decides. Now, let me also add again, she still decides, because we are talking about both spouse. She still decided to go on with the other party. What happens then? Don't you think it could be due to juju or something? Now, I will say that we always like to attribute everything to juju. Are you talking? That has gone really.
To where you will say, yes, we can now begin to find solution. It's a long journey. You need patience. You need a lot of patience. You need a lot of soul searching. self-searching. You need to do a lot of teamwork.
God bless you, man. This is what people don't have. The patience. They want a quick action, a quick fix. And I'll go back to what you said. It did not suddenly just happen. I will go back to what Biodun said. Biodun said, what if you already know? I was going to get to that, and we're going to talk about this. That what if you already know, you already dealt with the issue, you had this discussion, but yet your spouse is insisting that they're in love with somebody else. What your spouse is simply saying to you is, listen, we are over, right? So you have to make that decision then. Am I staying? Don't forget, this is your marriage. It's not just one person who is in this marriage. It's both of you.
Yes.
So you're making that decision. Am I staying in this marriage? And if you're staying, then you have a lot of work to do.
Yes, and Biotun, you also concluded by saying that sometimes you said you have seen this an instance, and I was just things. There can be, but it is not always the case. And if there are spiritual angles, let me tell you, if your husband was just or your wife was just, what were you doing? You, the husband or the wife. I tell you what, the other time when I was talking about us taking each other for granted in marriage, I mean husband and wife, I was going to say this then, that you see, let me bring it down to the wife now. You see, the work that these sidekicks do to get your husband.
You say that all the time.
Yeah, if you're able to do 1/4 of it, maybe you will not lose your marriage.
I'm not, you see, again, as I narrow it down to women in this area, let me also come back to men immediately. I'm not saying that there are not irresponsible men that, you know, they know what they are doing, they will say they are just.
Yeah, they use it as an excuse because it's always an excuse.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know what I was doing. Somebody, you know, asked me.
Yes, and people, I mean, and some men too that are players. I know situations like that, but I'm talking about a situation whereby a man was genuinely just. That is somebody who was committed to his marriage. He didn't want to go out of the marriage. He didn't want to abandon his wife and so on. Now, you woman,
all man.
I'm saying the man now, the woman now,
okay,
is saying that, oh, I mean, the husband has come back to say he was just. If you think he was truly just, which I don't believe that it's always the case.
Yes.
If he was truly just, you see, marriage is a spiritual thing. I believe that. We pray. They say the family that prays together stays together. So you need to be in God all the time. God in you in God.
Absolutely.
There's no way
and God at the center of your marriage.
There's no way we can rule all that one out. But I don't want people making excuses to say, look, I was just. I don't really like that. But again, I said, man or woman, that his wife or his husband was just. You two were careless at some points.
Exactly. So, how much did you pray for each other?
Yes.
How much did you have each other's back?
Exactly. Silas Hassan, that's Nakasalao. It means something has gone fundamentally wrong. That's what we are saying. It means the relationship was based on premises from pretenses from onset. You know, I thank you very much, people, as you are coming in, as you are bringing in your comments.
Vicky Owoduni, we see you. Hi, Aunt Vicky. We see you.
Yes, thank you very much. So, it is important, and I want you to underline this. Where have I taken my husband for granted? Where have I taken my wife for granted? In what way have I taken him or her for granted? We need to look at this. And don't say that, okay, because he said he's in love with me, I have traced back my steps, there's nothing I can do again, and you two, you quickly abandon the marriage. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Teamwork. For us to stay together, for us to stay
we need to work together.
We need to work together. Don't just give up. Don't just say, well, I have tried all I can, and he says he wants to go, and she says she wants to go, and so I'll just let her go, or I'll let him go. If you don't have something on the side that you want to quickly fall back on, or that you want to quickly run to, please,
then you don't just give up.
Don't just give up.
God bless you. This is what I say all the time. We don't give up on work when we encounter that one boss who's giving us hell. That's when we begin to pray, bind and cast, and fast about that boss.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes you confront the boss, or sometimes you find a way around dealing with that boss who is giving you hell at work. So if our work is so important to us and we will fight to keep our work, why won't you fight to keep your marriage? A marriage that you believe is important to you. Why won't you fight to keep it? I'm not saying physical fight now. You understand what I'm talking about. Sitting pretty and expecting everything to work like clockwork. No, that's not marriage. Marriage is investing because you're going to yield and invest a dividend at the end of the day. You only yield what you put in. If you do not put in prayer, you cannot expect to yield the result of prayer. If you do not put in love, it's like Val always says that when you come into marriage, marriage is an entity on its own.
Yes.
It's an empty vessel.
Yes.
You come as an entity, your spouse comes as an entity, and you both begin to put something into that marriage. If you put in love, you reap love.
We're going to discuss that entity thing at length sometime in the future. But you see, let me quickly say this again. We're not talking about polygamy. Okay?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're talking about a marriage that has
monogamy. That's what we're talking about now. Because look, some people, their faith allows them to practice polygamy.
Yes. And once you go into that, there's no complaint.
There's no complaint.
You know that you're going into a marriage where there's more than one
and that's no infidelity.
There's more than one man.
Yes.
Within your circle,
Yes.
you agreed to that.
Yes, yes.
So that's fine for you.
That's fine.
For you, that's fine. So you cannot complain. But we're talking about a one-man, one-woman marriage.
Richard Wise, thank you very much again. You said money and attention with love and prayers is marriage. Endurance. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Polygamy, if you are a polygamist, cheating on somebody.
Yeah.
Because in the case of polygamy, you will just bring the woman home to your wife and say, look, this is your junior wife. That's not what we're talking about now. And we're not even going there. I'm not going to go there. Anything that is going to attack anybody's faith, that is not my interest, okay? Because even people who are not practicing it based on faith, they have other reasons for practicing it. So that's not what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
We're talking about monogamy, and we're saying, look, if your spouse comes in to say, I'm in love with someone else, do you know that sometimes a man can just say, a woman can just come over and say to the husband, look, I'm leaving. And he says, why? I'm in love with someone else. Just because he wants or she wants the spouse to
suddenly wake up. Pay attention to the issues that they've been talking about.
So if somebody says,
scare the person.
Yes. So if your spouse says, I'm in love with someone else, and you say, you are in love with someone else.
Okay, I know you had wanted to go before. Okay, go. The woman will go, the man will go in and begin to go like, oh my God.
So this person never loved me in the first place. So this is it.
So you cannot just say, oh, okay, because somebody says I'm in love with someone else,
you are just going to give up. You are going to say, oh, and you are going to begin to bring in all kinds of manners of negative things, things that were never even real. So think about that.
Can I bring us somewhere, Val? And this is something we've dealt with as well with people before. When you meet with people on a daily basis, especially at that point where you're vulnerable, perhaps there's a quarrel going on at home, and you're not dealing with it, or something becomes a constant occurrence in your home. You're nagging about one particular thing, or you're both quarreling about one particular thing, and there's no change, nothing is happening. The likelihood then is for one of the spouse, who perhaps is the one who is not happy about the situation, to constantly look for attention somewhere else. Maybe they're not even looking, but attention is coming to them. They would grab it. A woman who desires in her heart for a husband to say something nice to her all the time, but she's not hearing it. Women like to hear. They say men are moved by what they see. right?
Yeah.
And women are moved by emotions, by what they hear.
Yes.
So a woman wants her husband to tell her certain things, and she's told him, this is what I like, this is what I love to hear. Somewhere else. So that attention that is coming from somewhere else could cause them to begin to develop certain feelings for that person. More so if this is a person that they're constantly seeing every day, perhaps at work, or perhaps at a group meeting or something. So you need to nip that in the bud. You don't just give up and say, well, so you're falling in love with somebody else. This is it. Except if you never loved each other in the first place.
Thank you. I want to latch on this thing you just said now, feeling. Do you know that your spouse, what if your spouse suddenly comes home and says, I'm in love with someone else? Do you know that feeling could be the reason why your husband or your wife comes home to say, I'm in love with someone? Feeling. And let me tell you, if it is just feeling, you can stop it. If you really stay with you, or you notice that he or she is in love with someone else, if it is as a result of feeling, you can stop it. Feeling comes, feeling goes. She could get this feeling, he could feel or fall in love with this person because of something that is missing somewhere. It doesn't mean that he genuinely or she genuinely
loves that person. It is lost.
It is lost. You know, it could be that, oh, you see, my wife, she used to have big backside that I loved before, but
she's lost weight now. And all of that is gone.
And all of that is gone. Okay? Or my wife is dark. I see this fair lady, you know. So
did he suddenly realize that he liked fair ladies?
It's feeling. Look, it's just that he wants to be with that fair lady. And I can assure you, and this is why sometimes men go and they come back to say, I was jazzed. Because that feeling.
You decided to jazz yourself.
He has exhausted
exactly.
Do you understand? So he's been with the lady, she's been with the man, and look, all the things that he or she saw from afar off, when she now got closer, she found out that
there's no big deal.
It's no big deal. My wife even has something better than this. My husband is even better than this. And she will now make a U-turn. Now, are you saying that if she comes back, you are going to continue, because there are people who do this, you are going to begin to continue to hammer on, but you have left it, you left that. You want to know that there were some things that were missing, you know, and that's why I said, if you want to retrace your steps, it's not something you can just say, oh, I've retraced my step and I'm straightening up now. I don't know what he's looking for again, this and that and that. And look, the man is still enjoying whatever he sees there. The woman is still getting overwhelmed and carried away with whatever she saw there. Okay, so look, I sometimes people, I don't know, the way we think, I don't know, this is where I'm different. If it is mine and I think it is mine, I am going to make sure that I work to keep what is mine.
Is it yours in the
Yes.
first place?
Yes.
You have to ask yourself that question. It's a vital thing Val said here. What is yours is yours. I can't stress this enough. Is this yours? Is this woman yours? Is this woman your wife? Is this man your husband? Or could you even have actually taken someone else's husband? You could be in a marriage where you could have actually been the one who had an affair with the man or the woman, and then suddenly everything is coming back full circle to you.
See what
but I don't want to go that direction.
Yeah, see what I was saying the other time. Lena is even agreeing with me. There are a couple of people here agreeing with me. Lena said true attention could be gotten outside the home. Yes. Richard also said if your companion doesn't have anything to offer, full of nagging and dirtiness, can drive one away from home. The man is dirty or the woman is dirty, you know. And Lena also said that many need to show more attention to their relationship.
Absolutely.
So as not to be told that I'm in love with someone else, you know. So these are the things we need to look at. Don't let us always be negative, thinking man will always be man. Oh, women.
It's in the man's DNA to cheat.
To cheat, and women.
There's no such thing.
I've heard that a beautiful man never stays with one man. And every time I remember that, I laugh. I laugh. You know, these are things. You know, when I was saying to a group of people some time ago, I said, may God deliver us from old fables, traditions, yes, you know, and stories that our forefathers have told us. You know, that is from our forefathers in those days in the village. That's why I heard first that a beautiful man never stays with one man. And every time I remember that, I just laugh. You know, some men have thought in their head, look, it's because she's beautiful. That's why you don't know what you have done to drive her away. And, you know, some women will say, oh, it's in the DNA of men to cheat. See, men, that's how they behave. You don't know what you have done to make him behave like that. So let us be realistic. Let us take our marriage, our relationship
seriously. Like we take everything else that is important to us.
Yes.
Like we take our friendships with our very close friends who we love and who we cherish. Some people cherish their friends outside the marriage more than they cherish their marriage. They're closer to friends outside the marriage than they are close to their spouse. And that's a danger.
And I tell you what, man, before you come back home to say to your wife, I'm in love with someone else. Woman, before you come back home to say to your husband, I'm in love with someone else. Tell that to your spouse what has happened, what he has done. Discuss it. If it is not true that you were never interested in that marriage from the beginning, if it was not true that you got married for wrong reasons, if it was not true that you never ever loved your spouse, if that all those ones were not true, then before you just wake up one day to say, look, I'm going to say this to him, or I'm going to tell her this, I'm no more in love, I'm in love with someone else, you guys need to take that option of sitting down, talk about things. If you cannot talk about it, if you think it is difficult for you to handle, get help. Get help. Get help.
And by help, we're not saying get advice from people. Anybody can advise anybody. Anybody can advise anybody, even a person who's been divorced 7 times.
Now, the spouse that is being abandoned, you also need to be realistic. You need to be honest with yourself. Because look, Yoruba will say, any buruma. You know what your faults are. You know what roles you have played in the situation that you find yourself in. So don't just think that the man is crazy or the man is mad to be saying all this rubbish. So look at what roles have you played. And number one, please let us take note of all these things. Number one, it is not possible for you to just love someone else because this woman has hurt you or this man has hurt you. If truly you have been hurt, you will sit back and assess the situation. It will take you time. to heal. So it will take you time to love someone else.
Absolutely.
Unless you want to hurt that person. You are hurting, you will see women at that time you are hurting, you will see women as witches. You will see all men as irresponsible. So until you are healed inside you, otherwise. So
you need to deal with the issue that's causing the pain inside you.
Exactly, and that's why I want to go to this. That if eventually, like Biodun said before, if eventually you have tried, because it is possible. It is possible that you might have tried all things, including counseling. You know, you have tried everything,
but this person is bent on
yes,
going.
It is still
or ending the marriage.
Yes, it is still important that you go through all this we have said. Go to the beginning of the relationship. Look at the causes of the situation you find yourself in. Examine yourself.
What have you contributed?
Yes, deal with the issues that you discover along the line as you are searching thoroughly your own self and the marriage, everything. Deal with those issues you find, because if you don't deal with them,
they will deal with you.
They will deal with you. And if you don't deal with the baggage that you are carrying, that is your own part of the fault. If you don't deal with it, it will still haunt you in the future. Whether you go into another marriage or you stay alone. If you don't deal with your own end of the story, it will haunt you.
Okay, God bless you, Val. Something I want to bring out here from what you said. So you've tried so hard to deal with the issue. This person is still not bulging. This person keeps saying, I don't want to go on with this relationship. Because that's the end result, isn't it? The person wants out and saying, I don't want to go on with this relationship anymore. So there comes a time we don't. If for any reason you sense that your life is in danger, you need to separate in order to work things out.
Yes.
You don't necessarily need to put your life at risk in order to sort a problem out. Sometimes you need to step out of the situation to see the situation. There is the necessity to step out of that situation. Please do so. You might encounter, maybe you've gone counseling and they told you need to step back a bit. If that's what needs to be done, then that needs to be done in order for you to deal with the problem. And I'm saying this because there's so many cases of domestic violence and abuse out there today. Why? Because people so despise each other.
Do you even know that?
Because people so hate each other, they will go at each other and they will end up stabbing each other 76 or is it 72 times?
72, 76. What's the difference?
What's the difference? Same difference. So if you find that you are at a point where whatever it is you're doing is not making a difference and you fear for your life, because if you're working with somebody, you're trying to work with somebody who begins to show signs of despise for you or hatred for you, you want to be careful. Your life is more important at that point in time. You need to step back in order to deal with it and assess it properly. And perhaps maybe stepping back will allow that person now see you, see the true you, see what they are missing. See, because if you're right in their faces, sometimes it becomes too overwhelming. But when you're part of it, they either see the true you or they feel, okay, that's it. Right? But your life is not worth that risk. Your life is not worth the risk for any reason. If you fear for you, I cannot stress this enough. If you're dead, that's it. Your worry about your spouse being in love with somebody else does not really matter then anymore. But if you fear for your life, once your spouse becomes a beater, I know that it's always a case of the man beating the woman, but there are women who beat their husbands these days.
Yes, do you also?
If that's the case, we need to make it clear to people. So if you just say that again.
Yeah, see, I said some spouses they resort to violence because they don't know how to say their minds to their partner. They don't know how to say, I'm in love with someone else. And they begin to misbehave and they begin
so they go Voltron on their partner.
Exactly. So you see, we need to be very, very careful. And what I see here, and I want to emphasize on, is that look, if you don't truly love your husband or your wife, there is no way you can stay in that marriage. So we'll be talking sometime. We'll be talking about this love thing. In fact, maybe next week. Let me say it here. Next week we're going to talk about this particular one, because you need love really to be able to stay in your marriage.
And love is not just the feeling.
It's not just
not that fluffy feeling. I was having a chat with a young man. Was it 2 days ago? And he was talking about not feeling in love. He said he's been, remember, he said he's been in a relationship before. And I was asking this young man, what are you waiting for? You know, I'm waiting for the invitation, the wedding invitation. And he says, oh, ma'am, I'm still waiting. I'm not, there's somebody, oh, bless you. There's somebody, and I'm still waiting for that feeling, but I'm not in love with her. Love. He said yes. Is it that fluffy feeling? He said yes. Oh, so you've had that fluffy feeling before? He said yes. But I'm not getting it with this girl. And I said, okay, what about her? He said, oh, she does everything any woman could do for a man. She cleans, she cooks, she looks after me. If I come back home from work at about 4 a.m. and I see I'm hungry, she fixes me a meal. She makes sure I'm fine all the time. She looks after me.
And you still don't feel love for that.
I still don't feel love for her. And I said, okay, so what do you think? He said, I think she loves me. But what about you? I don't love her. So what people are looking for is the fluffy feeling. And they don't get that love. It's not that fluffy feeling. Love is an action. Anyway, you said we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but you know
I won't go into that now.
Do you know that truly he doesn't love that girl?
He doesn't.
Truly.
He actually doesn't.
And look at
and he doesn't see her yet.
And there are some things that could make them marry each other. For example, there is a child between them. And they could look at, okay, I don't want that child to be living out of wedlock, so let me just marry this. Do you know that such a guy can come back home one day to the lady and say, no, if they eventually get married, he can come back to that lady one day and say, I'm in love with
somebody. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely more.
So people need to understand what love is exactly. I'm going to be asking you next week, and we're going to be talking about it next week, what love is really. And I want contributions, you know, because like I said to you at the very first beginning and very first episode of this program, we said, look, we are not here to just offload our thoughts on you. We are here to also
share it.
Yes,
we're sharing. And that's what I love this. I love what's going on with all of the contributions.
All the people who have been contributing. Thank you very much. And we want more contributions from you. Even after this end of this program, you still have the chance to make your contributions on this thread.
Absolutely. Now, we're conscious of the time and we're running out of time. We just want to bring this home. The question is, what if your spouse is in love with someone else? So we've said today that what you need to do is go back to the foundation. How did you come together in the first place? What was the reason for your marriage? Was it genuine? Were you both connected to each other? Did you both agree to love each other? Did the man find you as a wife? Did he say to you, he didn't propose to you. We talked about proposal last week.
Yeah.
Did the man propose to you, or were you the one who proposed to the man? If you propose to the man, then why are you surprised he's coming to tell you he's in love with somebody else? Because your foundation in the first place was wrong. And if you realize that there's a problem, and you both work together in coming together in this relationship in the first place, first question you need to ask yourself, do I want to stay in this marriage? Do I want to stay? If you want to stay, then you've got work to do. It means you're going to have to work and pray to fix it. Notice I said you work and pray. You don't just pray. And this is the mistake a lot of people do. We just pray and pray and pray, and we wait for God himself to come down to deal with the problem for us. No, please, pray and work. Sit together, talk about it, get help, not advice, not advice, get help. And getting help means going to people who you know can help you deal with the issue. There's an issue there. There's a reason why your spouse has come to say to you, I'm in love with somebody else. So what's the issue? How can you take that issue out of the way? If that issue becomes dealt with, then can you forge ahead?
So those are things you should do, and I tell you what you shouldn't even do. Number one, don't give up. Just like that.
Don't give up.
Don't give up just like that. Don't just listen to anybody's advice. Don't just be looking for advice. Don't fail to acknowledge your own fault in the situation. Don't pass the buck. Don't be saying,
it's all your fault.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault. So don't fail to take in your own part of the fault.
And deal with that fault of yours.
And when you
work on it.
Yes, when you are working on it, when you are dealing with all these situations, make sure that you don't work in isolation. Teamwork is very, very important. And let me tell you, because you think the situation is so bad and there's nothing you can do, don't just jump into divorce. Don't think, oh, the best thing is divorce. Let me tell you, you cannot possibly just get to that point of divorce and not regret later. Now, we said my wife was saying the other time that separation, she was talking about separation. It is important. I don't see separation as divorce. No. So, what will people say? They will think I'm a single mother or single
Those people will be the first people to talk about you behind your back and castrate you.
Exactly.
Perhaps they even have a worse situation than you do. And they're hiding it. But all you do is talk about yours to every single person rather than get help.
Yes. And during separation, please don't just conclude that this relationship has ended. Separation will give you time and space.
It gives you clear head
to look
to
into the
think
solution.
about things, to assess situation. Yes. And to truly know if you want to forge on.
Yes. So don't think that because my spouse had come to say she's in love with somebody else, then the end has come to this relationship. I don't agree with that. And I will leave it at that. And I know that as you continue to read the thread on this program, you will get more information, you will get more contributions from the people who also have things to say on this topic.
And can I just say to you, when your spouse says you're in love with somebody else, the somebody else knows that your spouse has a spouse. The somebody else who your spouse is in love with knows that your spouse has a spouse. And so that person does not want good for you, because if that person wants good for you with your spouse in the first place.
Do you know those people?
The kind of people that your spouse will be in love with. Do you know they go onto mountaintop to pray? To collect your husband.
They want to take what is yours.
Collect your wife. Yes, they want to take what is yours.
They want that which is yours. Single women out there, no, they don't want those ones. They want your own.
Yes.
So are you going to let them take your own? Now, if there is no case of physical fighting between the two of you, and there's no mental torture, and I guess you know what I'm talking about here, but it's just the issue of, okay, we can't sort out our differences. If he's not physical with you or she's not physical with you, and you can sit down, you know in yourself, you can sit down, then throw pride to the wind. When if you're a man, throw pride to the wind. If you love this woman, deal with the issue and get what is yours back.
There are marriages that have ended on a very sad note of the
Yes.
cross, that if we had made some
a little effort to get yours back.
Yes.
Something to you. You have invested in a business for years, and some person walks up at some stage.
I'll just say a man. I won't say more than that. I can remember a man that went to people, well-meaning people, to say, listen, one this so person is messing with my wife. I don't want him near my wife. And don't laugh at me. The woman was impregnated by this same person that the man was warning him, was warning about. Okay, he still went ahead to tell people, warn this boy, he has impregnated my wife now. After this, you bring back my wife.
Oh, in this age and time, some men would have. Oh, don't let me even go there.
He still wanted his wife back.
What is yours is yours. What is yours is yours. If it's worth fighting for, then you fight for it. You don't give up. Ask yourself, do I want this marriage? If this marriage is good, then you work for it and you fight for it. You don't let anyone walk in and take your marriage.
Yes, guys.
And please don't be falling in love with every person you meet on the street. Be responsible.
Because it's so easy to fall in love with the body, with the shape and everything. It's a sign of irresponsibility.
God bless you. It's a sign of irresponsibility. Fight with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Get a grip.
And I can say that it's a sign of irresponsible. Don't think I don't know what I'm talking about. If you really know me very well, you will know that I know what I'm talking about.
It's a sign of irresponsibility. Be responsible. Stop looking for excuses.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit upset here because
we're going to take it easy now. We're going to take it easy now because we have to round up.
Well, let me tell you, next week by God's grace, we have never had on a program, we have never said what we're going to be talking about in the next program. But I'm saying it to you now that next week by God's grace, we're going to be talking love. We're going to be talking love. Yeah, we're going to be talking about love. From me, thank you very much for this program. I leave the rest in the hands of everybody.
Okay, wait. Biojo seems to have a question he wants to ask before we go. I don't know if you can hear us, Biojo. Let's give it a go and let him ask the question very quickly.
Okay.
Can we let him? Okay. If you can call +353 87 7621 660. +353 87 7621 660. We're literally out of time, but if you can get to us in the next
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 87 7621 660. If you can hear me, Biojo, if you can call. You're saying that it's a bit difficult for you to type since I have a lot of questions to ask, and you want to ask both of us, and you say it's urgent. So I sense perhaps what you would ask might even help somebody who is in this situation. Okay. So we'll give that little leeway if you can call us now. Otherwise, if you type the question still, we will answer it. So regardless of us coming off air now, the thread is still available. If you type the question, we will answer the question. If you're watching this later, if you're not here watching the live show, but you're watching this later, if you have questions, still ask your questions. We will answer them. We will attend to them. This is Marriage O'Clock. It's been great being with you this week. Yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. Keep talking, please. If you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, keep talking with your spouse. This is important. Communication is key. Please talk so that you don't fall in love with somebody else who's talking to you.
Yeah, so if you try that number and it's not going, you can also try it on WhatsApp, and I'm sure that will go. Okay.
Hi, Joanna. Yes, you're late. Catch us next week, but watch again, replay this, watch, and you can still make your comment or ask your question. We have to go now.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. We love
Thank you for being here.
Yes, please.
God bless you. We always give an assignment. I will give a quick one. We've run out of time, literally, but I'll give a quick one. So this week, I want you to help a friend. A friend who is stuck. You've been a part of this. You're probably just listening to this now. Help a friend. Share what you've learned here today with a friend who you believe is stuck. Something you've learned here today, share it with a friend and help a friend. Please, let's be a brother's keeper. So that's your assignment this week. I want you to help somebody.
Before I shut up finally, I'm going to read this. Joanna said, I got this at the retreat. He said, hey, I'm late. I got this at the retreat in Dubai. Thanks to you both.
Oh, yes. Joanna was in Dubai at the Dubai Relationship Conference.
Divine Designers Island says, really enjoy this. We thank you so much.
Thank you all so much for being here. We've got to go.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a blessed week. Please keep keeping love alive.
And if you can join us. Join us next week.
Next Sunday. Next Sunday, same time, 4 p.m. I'll be here. Toodaloo.